Hi everyone, today we are going to go through the exercise of building a brand new FirstWatch user account. So if you are the FirstWatch administrator within your organization, you should have the admin tool link, which is here in the upper left hand corner of your FirstWatch account. So as a FirstWatch administrator, you have the ability to create brand new FirstWatch accounts. You could subscribe those accounts to triggers and alerts, and you could remove users if they are no longer with your organization. So let's click on the admin tool link. Now from here you can see all of the users that you have in your system currently. And if you want to create a brand new user, let's just click on the new user link here at the top left hand corner. It's a little hard to tell, but if you can see, these bolded fields are all of the required fields in order to create a brand new account. So you just need a first, let's start with the name. You need their full name, username. Usually FirstWatch does first initial last name. You can choose whatever username format you folks would like. However, if that username already lives in the FirstWatch system, then it will not allow you to choose that username. So if you just put a number after it, it should allow you to save it. We do not need a primary or secondary phone number. That's just more for internal purposes. Access level, it will default to user, but if you want another administrator within your organization, you can choose administrator. And again, an administrator will have the ability to create accounts, subscribe users to triggers, subscribe them to alerts, and delete users. These down here are just additional modules that you will not have access to enabling, so we're just going to skip over that. Email address, just enter their email address. And moving over here to the right, the default trigger display period, or default trigger display. So when that user is looking at the trigger, what can they see within the trigger? So de-identified means that it hides or masks HIPAA related information, things such as address, incident comments, patient information. Anything HIPAA related will be hidden or masked if they have de-identified access level. Identified access means that that user has full HIPAA compliance, so they will be able to see HIPAA related information from within the trigger. So de-identified hides or masks HIPAA related info. Identified, it shows HIPAA related information. And as you can see, there are a lot of different versions of de-identified and identified. So just to get into it, some of these are the zoom level, means that when they're looking at the trigger from a map perspective, how far in or out can they zoom from that trigger. Masked address means that it will hide or it will only display the numerical part of that address. And as you can see, there's also the zoom level, which allows that user to zoom in based upon the zoom level that you choose. Default alert display period, so that is if that user has access to alerts. So same sort of concept. When they receive an alert via email, or an alert via text message, or an alert via FirstWatch app, will they be able to see identified information, which shows all the HIPAA related information, or will it be de-identified, which hides or masks all of the HIPAA related information? Default chart display period, so that's if you're looking at the trigger from a graph or a chart, how many days back are you looking at the data? So 0 actually means you're only able to see 1 day's worth of data. I usually set this to 6, which really allows you to see 7 days worth of data or a week's worth of data. Default Excel and KML view all alerts. This just gives you the ability to export out to Excel, to Google Earth, and to view all alerts. So if you are subscribed to an alert and other folks are subscribed to that alert, you can see who else received the alert and in what manner they received the alert. So either, text message or email or the First Watch app. So if everything looks good, you can go ahead and save that. So just hit save, top left corner. This warning just means that we've created a user and it doesn't fit the email address format of all of the other users. So to make sure that we are creating the user under the correct customer. And yes, we are. Go ahead and save that. So the next thing you want to do if you build a new user is you want to give them access to triggers. So if you build a new user and you do not give them access to triggers, all they're going to see is a blank screen when they log in. So to give a new user access to triggers, since we're still in this user's profile, just click on this trigger sub button and click on subscriptions. The triggers here on the left hand side are all of the triggers that user does not have access to. And the triggers here to the right are the triggers that user has access to. So since this is a brand new user, they don't have access to any of the triggers. So let's go ahead and give this new user access to triggers. Them to have access to the drowning trigger. So you can select all, or if you don't want to select all, you can hold down your control key and click multiple triggers and then move them over to the right. Those are the triggers I want to give this user access to, so let's go ahead and hit save. So this screen here will just confirm what you just did, and if everything looks good, you can go ahead and close. So from this screen, you can see all of the triggers that John Smith has access to. So for this particular trigger, they have de-identified access. They can see 6 days worth of data, and they can view all alerts if this trigger is enabled for alerts. So let's say that you want to give John Smith identified access to a particular trigger, but de-identified for the rest of the triggers. So you can do that on a per trigger basis on this screen. So let us give John Smith identified access to the burglary trigger. So just click on the drop down for the burglary trigger, click identified, and save. So from this screen, you could manage trigger access level on a per trigger basis.